time to retire. McCain just did something sick to Trump voters in this new viral video. Senator John McCain just lobbed another criticism against the Trump administration and even Trump voters Sunday in an interview with CBS. You have got to see the interview in the clip below. The interviewer asked John McCain how he felt about Secretary of State Rex Tillerson saying about working with Russia to defeat ISIS. And you know, that's exactly what the globalists don't want. And I would tell you that, by and large, our objectives are exactly the same. How we get there, we each have a view. Maybe they've got the right approach and we've got the wrong approach. Tillerson's comments came after meeting with Putin for over 2 hours during the G20 summit. The meeting was meant to foster a more cooperative relationship between the two countries, which is reflected in Tillerson's statement. When asked about those comments, instead of looking at the good of working together to defeat ISIS, McCain automatically accused Tillerson of condoning Russian brutality in the region. Totally ridiculous. The Trump administration has condemned both Russia and Assad for their role in Syrian chemical weapons attacks and hit an Assad airbase with 59 Tomahawk missiles in retribution. McCain should know that, but this interview gets even worse. The senator then said he agonized, voting for or against Tillerson for Secretary of State, and that he sometimes regrets voting for him. But he couldn't even stop there. McCain even insults the Americans who voted for President Trump, saying, "Sometimes I do regret voting for Tillerson, but I'm still torn by the fact that the American people chose this president and he ought to be able to have his team." When McCain said American people, he made this grossed out face. Wow. Geez, with friends like these, who needs enemies? We have enough problems with Democrats. We don't need Republicans turning on Trump too. The whole interview was messed up. Watch it here. It's only 2 minutes long. McCain is a warmonger. That's why he says.
Let's listen to something that Secretary of State Tillerson said about the Russians who have interests in Syria and the United States. Let's listen to the Secretary.
By and large, our objectives are exactly the same. How we get there, we each have a view. Maybe they've got the right approach and we've got the wrong approach.
Do the Russians have the right approach?
You can't make that up. You can't that up. These are the same people that use precision-guided weapons to strike hospitals in Aleppo where sick and wounded people are.
Yeah, right.
This is just, you know, I'm preparing myself.
Those were the moderate rebels that strike. His moderate rebels. You get it? It's not Assad doing this.
Mentally to be on this show. I said, John, you're not going to get upset. You're not going to get
really, John,
emotional. But I've met the White Hats. I know what the slaughter has been like. I know that
his terrorist groups, the White Hats, the moderate rebels.
The Russians knew that Bashar Assad was going to use chemical weapons.
Bashar al-Assad, they can't even prove it. Why in the United Nations, when they asked to do an investigation, how come they refused to do the investigation? They don't want it because Putin was asking, come on down, let's do an investigation on this, the sarin gas that they did. And none of them, they said, no, we're not doing an investigation. I wonder why.
And to say that maybe we've got the wrong approach? Look, I agonized over voting for or against Tillerson for Secretary of State. Not that I didn't admire his success and all the great things he's done, but the things that he'd said in the past. He has divorced a fundamental of American democracy. The reason why we are the shining city on the hill, as Ronald Reagan used to say, is because they look up to us because of our principles and our beliefs and our advocacy of freedom, for freedom. That's what America is supposed to be all about, not whether they're right and we're wrong. We know who's right and who's wrong here.
Do you regret that vote for Tillerson?
Sometimes I do, but I'm still torn by the fact that the American people chose
Really,
this president,
McCain?
and he ought to be able to have his team. When Barack Obama won in 2008 and 2009, I voted for his team.
Really?
Because I think that the American people wanted him to have his team. But don't think I wasn't worried about it. Really worried.
Yeah, really. This McCain character is a warmonger, and he should be prosecuted. He should be prosecuted for all the wrongdoings he has done. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.